Before we begin here, I would like to do the land acknowledgement that we are gathered today on the traditional territory of the Ashenbach people. Echo Bay is located on the traditional lands of the Garden River First Nation and within the Robinson-Hury Treaty area. We recognize the endurance, presence, contributions, and stewardship of Indigenous peoples and are grateful for the opportunity to gather on these lands. And we're going to have the lady do a drumming before we start.
Bonjour, Makadinagig, Wabshkenagig, Asiwakwawashkashtodem. Black Otter, White Otter, Spirit Woman is my spirit name, and my English name is Teresa Binda. And I live in Kitagonzi B, Garden River First Nation. And it's an honor to be here. And so I would like to do a welcome song along with a turtle song. Hey, Guando Day, oh, hey, Guando Day, hey, Guando Day, oh, hey, Guando Day, hey, Guando Day, oh, hey, Guando Day. 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 Oh, get to be Klamasha, Bawabana Manaki. Chicken like a wheaty, watchy, wapamada Nishinabay. Yahweh, 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 oh. Yahweh, 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 oh. Oh, get to be Klamasha. Miigwech, and that's Grandmother Turtle watching over the people on Mother Earth. Miigwech. Oh.
Thank you very much. That was very nice. Thank you very much. It is my pleasure to welcome everyone here to Echo Bay today. As Mayor of the Township, Macdonald, Meredith, Aberdeen Additional, I'm the President of the Algoma District Municipal Association and the Second Vice President for the Federation of Northern Ontario Municipalities. I would like to extend a warm Northern Ontario welcome to the Minister Sarkaria, Minister Pirie, and our MPP, Bill Rosenberg, here this afternoon, and to our good friends. We appreciate you taking this time to be in our community. One of the things that makes Northern Ontario successful is a strong relationship between municipalities and the province of Ontario. Whether it's supporting economic development, strengthening transportation networks, investing in communities, or helping address local priorities, progression is achieved when governments work together towards a common goal. Communities like Echo Bay understand the necessity and the value of partnership with municipal governments. Are closest to the people, and we serve when we have the strong working relationships with our provincial partners. We can accomplish the great things for residents, businesses, and future generations. FNOM has always worked to advocate collaboratively and to open dialogue between municipalities and the province. We appreciate opportunities such as today that bring people together and demonstrate the sharing of commitment for Northern Ontario. We really appreciate the people that come out today, and we certainly really do appreciate our help with the provincial government. So it gives me great pleasure to introduce the Minister of Transportation, Minister Sarkaria.
Thank you very much, Mayor. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Lynn.
Good morning, good afternoon, I think, everyone. Pleasure to be here. And Mayor Watson, thank you so much for your introduction. Great to be here with yourself and two of my good friends who are also my colleagues, Minister Pirie and MPP Rosenberg, someone who's been a true champion not only for this investment, but for our Northern Ontario and for the community. You know, I speak often to Bill about the challenges, whether it was during the winter, whether it's making sure that we continue to invest in the north all across our network, and I really want to thank him for his leadership and the voice that he's bringing to Queen's Park on behalf of his residents here across Northern Ontario, and specifically his riding. Under the leadership of Premier Ford, our government is making historic investments in highways to protect road safety and keep traffic flowing across the province. We're investing $31 billion to build, repair, and expand highways, roads, and bridges. And we're making significant investments in Northern Ontario. This year alone, we're investing more than $600 million to improve highway infrastructure in Northern Ontario through the Ontario Highways Program. And today we're marking another milestone to improve safety, support economic growth, and keep workers on the job in the north. I'm happy to announce that construction is underway for the rehabilitation work on Highway 17 from Echo Bay to Highway 548. Our government is investing almost $53 million to upgrade 17 kilometers of highway and to repair and replace bridges along the corridor, including the Bar River Bridges, Stobie Creek Bridge, and Richardson Creek Bridge. This project ensures a safe drive for the thousands of people who depend on Highway 17 each day. It's hard to overstate how important this work is. Northern Highway safety is a top priority for our government, and Highway 17 is a critical link in the Trans-Canada Highway network. It keeps people moving, and it supports the flow of billions of dollars of goods across this country. As our government continues to topple interprovincial trade barriers that cost our country almost $200 billion every year, investments in Highway 17 have never been more crucial. And today's announcement supports supply chains, regional industries, and the daily lives of residents and businesses across Northern Ontario. A strong Ontario depends on a strong North. Northern Ontario is a major economic contributor, with more than 65,000 businesses driving growth across the province. That's why we continue to invest in Northern Highways. We're twinning the Trans-Canada Highway from Thunder Bay to and from Kenora to the Manitoba border, and we're increasing highway enforcement efforts to keep northern communities safe and we continue to hire more transportation enforcement officers. Since January 2025, we had hired 99 new officers, including 48 specifically in the north. And our officers completed over 128,000 inspections and laid 24,000 charges in 2025 alone. That is up over 45% from the year prior. By upgrading Highway 17 right here in Echo Bay and investing in northern infrastructure and keeping our roads safe, we're keeping on Northern Ontario moving today, tomorrow, and for generations to come to protect this province and Ontario. With that said, I have the pleasure of turning it over to my colleague and good friend, Minister Pirie. George, over to you.
Thank you. Bill. Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Mr. Sarkaria, for that introduction. And thank you for your leadership on strengthening Ontario's transportation network. I also want to thank Bill Rosenberg, MPP for Algoma Manitoulin, who's just doing a fantastic job. Mayor Lynn Watson for welcoming us to Echo Bay, and everyone else joining us here for this important announcement. Because today's announcement is about something every Northerner understands. Safe, reliable highways matter. They connect our communities. They help workers get where they need to go. They support local businesses, industries, and supply chains that keep our economy moving. And they ensure families can travel with confidence across the north. These roads are not optional. They are essential. As a proud Northerner myself, and as Ontario's Minister of Northern Economic Development and Growth, I spent a lot of time traveling on northern highways, as I just did this morning. I know firsthand the unique challenges that come with maintaining and improving transportation infrastructure across a region as vast as Northern Ontario. I also know that the dedicated team at the Ministry of Transportation understands these realities and is committed to working with communities and partners to keep improving safety and reliability across the north. That commitment is backed by real investment. Through the Northern Highways Program, our government invests $600 million annually in rehabilitation and expansion projects across Northern Ontario. That includes the work being announced today along Highway 17 from Echo Bay to Highway 548. But it also represents a long-term commitment to building a stronger and safer future for our region. We also recognize that this past winter was a difficult one on northern highways. Northerners experienced challenging weather conditions and road closures that impacted families, workers, and communities all alike. That's why our business and that's why our government is taking action. We're investing new portable message signs to provide drivers with better real-time information on weather conditions and highway closures. We are upgrading northern rest areas and expanding year-round truck parking capacity. And we are continuing important highway widening projects across the north. All of this comes back to one thing: working together. We will continue to have productive conversations with partners like Phenom and NOMA, and I really want to congratulate Phenom and NOMA. They've been tremendous partners to identify real practical solutions that improve safety across the north. And we will continue calling on the federal government to recognize highways and 11 and 17 as projects of national significance and I just met them last week in Ottawa, because these corridors are essential to securing domestic supply chains, supporting economic growth, and strengthening Canada's sovereignty. Northern Ontario has a bright future ahead, and our government will continue making investments for support families, workers, and businesses across our region. We have your back. Thank you. I would like now to welcome over Bill Rosenberg to the podium. Thanks, Bill.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's a great pleasure to be here with you at the MTO Patrol Yard in Echo Bay, alongside two fabulous ministers that took me under their wing when I got into the legislature, George Pirie, Minister of Northern Economic Development and Growth, and Prabmeet Sarkaria, Minister of Transportation. And I also like to give a warm welcome for Mayor Lynn Watson. We've known each other for quite a few years, and it's my goal in my life to get him to paint his shutters blue. But This route serves residents, tourists, local businesses, and the transporters who move goods between southern and northern Ontario, keeping our communities connected and our economy moving. Today, as we come together to reaffirm our confidence and support in Northern Ontario and all our communities, we recognize the resilience, the dedication, and the strength of the people who call the North home and who continue to drive its growth and prosperity. Our northern communities are helping to build Ontario's future through significant investments in our mining industry, forestry, steel, and other key industries in this area. The people who work in these sectors are creating opportunities, supporting families, and strengthening our economies. We are here today to show our support for these efforts and to recognize the positive impact that these commitments have having on our communities across our northern regions. By investing in our people, our industries, and our infrastructure, we are helping to ensure a strong, prosperous future for our Northern Ontario and for all of Ontario. So I'd like to take this chance to thank the drummer, the representatives from Guard River First Nations, Mayor Watson, for all your support in making this announcement today, and thank you to everyone coming out. And a final thank you to Minister Sarkaria for coming to Algoma, joining a couple of northern boys, George and myself. Who knows, if you keep coming up north, we might turn you into one of the northern boys. Thanks, guys.
We'll now go to questions. If reporters could line up at the microphone behind me, please identify yourselves by name and outlet, and it will be one question, one follow-up.
Good morning, Elaine Delamatia, Sioux Star. The NDP and the Ontario Truckers Association and various other groups have been calling on improvements to Highway 17 and 11 for some time, including the twinnings of highways and increased enforcement. You mentioned a couple of those things that are happening today, but is there enough, and what more have you got in the pot?
Yeah, thank you for the question. Look, when it comes to enforcement, just in the last, as I spoke in the last year, we hired over close to 99 new officers. And if you look from years prior to 2025, we're up over 60% on inspections. What we heard, in years prior was in the north, there was always issues on retention of individuals, especially in the transportation enforcement officers, staying in the north. So we actually put forward a concerted effort to hire from the north and to engage more individuals in the north for the specific grievances of keeping our northern highways safer. We hired over 50 new officers out of that, the full set of 98 from the north for the north. And so we continue to add on from that perspective. So about 126,000 inspections happened in 2025. We're going very strong this year. The years prior we were closer to 70,000, if I'm not mistaken, inspections. So we've got a lot of work on the way. Now, when it comes to Highway 11 and 17 with respect to investments, every year, as we are this year, we're putting in close to $600 million. Today's announcement is another part of that, over $50 million in rehabilitation and bridge work. Whether it's the 2+1 pilot program that we're moving forward, whether it's a 4-laning on Highway 17 from the Winnipeg side coming over here, we're in constant conversations on how we can move these projects quicker and faster, and as both my colleague and myself are also wrote to the federal government to see how we can get their support on these economic corridors. So a lot of investment is happening. We can continue to move quicker and faster, and that's what we intend to do over the next couple of years as well.
So just as a follow-up then, highways are important, but trains are more environmentally friendly. They don't have the impact of harsh winters that we have in the north. When is the province going to invest in passenger rail service in Northern Ontario, and specifically from Sudbury to Sault Ste. Marie and from Sault Ste. Marie to Thunder Bay?
Yeah, no, those are really good questions. Portion of the north, obviously not as relevant here, is the Northlander. That is their first start for passenger rail in the north, and we're going to work with our team at the Northlander to look at those opportunities. And Minister Pirie has been spearheading this with our team as well as identifying tracks that we potentially use in the future. We're going to look to work with our team at the Northland to see where those opportunities could exist. But Let's not forget in 2012 it was the NDP that for the other parts of the north where the Northlander is coming, they chose to not support the Northlander, and they were one of the reasons that that project was cancelled. We are bringing it back because we appreciate the need for passenger rail service in the north, and we appreciate the need of continuing to look at places both like Sault Ste. Marie, Sudbury, and other places where we can, and Thunder Bay, where we can get that access for passenger rail service as well. So we're looking at all options possible.
Corey Nordstrom, CTV News, Sault Ste. Marie. I just wanted to ask the minister, but also the rest of you, feel free to chime in afterwards, just about the economic impact of something like this, how important road work is for the communities in Echo Bay and the surrounding area, and just why that's something that goes further than just the dollars today.
Absolutely. It's a wonderful question. When we look at any road project across the province, we see some of the most significant ripple effects of that. So, especially from some of the highest paid jobs are in construction. So we see the engagement of local workforces. We see the engagement of local small company businesses across the region. And that's why we have such a significant investment into road infrastructure over the next 10 years. And a big part of that plan is right here in the north, because we recognize the opportunity. So as we strengthen these corridors, we continue to make the case for more interprovincial trade to happen between our provinces in our country, and the 11 and 17 being the core corridors of that investment and of that transfer of goods between different parts of the country and the province. By investments, putting forward investments like this, it continues to make this province and this area more attractive for investment. So the economic impact is significant, and I'll pass it over to both Bill and George to see if they want to add on anything to this as well.
Yeah, I'm sure that we can't underestimate how big an impact it actually does have in our small communities, whether it's the local restaurants, the local motels, and just that the parks. We see that, and we've seen that over the years. And our small communities really count on this major investments like the minister has just talked about. And going forward, it's great news for all our small communities.
Yeah, you notice that I mentioned sovereignty in my remarks, and everything we're doing in the north is all about sovereignty. We know that we have to reduce our dependence on the U.S. markets, and to do that, we need infrastructure, and we need to strengthen our supply chains. So everything that we're doing here, you've seen the investment the province is making in Sault Ste. Marie with Algoma and Tenir as well, to ensure that our communities they don't just survive, they thrive. And to do that, we have to build infrastructure. So this is these infrastructure programs are of national security. And it's all about sovereignty. Our economy in Northern Ontario is booming, but we got to pivot quickly to get these goods out to market, and that's what this is all about. It's about all of us and the sovereignty of Canada.
I also want to ask about this project as it relates to highway safety. Can you maybe go into more detail on what these specific work will be, or how that relates to, at the end of the day, making these highways more safe?
Absolutely. Just part of our program for the north. We look at parts and stretches of the highway where we consider everything from culvert replacement to bridge replacement to rehabilitation of the road. Each of these are so important to continue to invest in our infrastructure to keep it up to the standards that the province expects. And so when we do these, it is to continue to bring these parts of the highway, the road, into good repair. And when you have that, you have a smoother ride, less opportunity, and less chance for unfortunate incidences. And so that's why we continue to have such an aggressive investment across many of the areas to conduct this work. In some places it might be rehabilitation, some places it might be the installation of additional lanes. We're also looking at more passing lanes, truck climbing lanes across the sectors of Highway 11 and 17. So we look at it and we tackle each part of it differently. But ultimately, everything that we do is focused in on, from a safety perspective, and preventing incidents from occurring before they happen.
Hi, Kenneth Armstrong, Sioux today. Just expanding a bit on Elaine's questions. This rehabilitation's occurring on a section of Highway 17 that has already been twinned. And I'm just thinking of, the Premier has talked about projects like tunneling under the 401 and the amount of money that would cost. Well, so much of Highway 17, Highway 11 are not being twinned. And I'm just wondering, for people in the north, how can you help people reconcile that?
Well, I think, you can look to our regular investments into the north. Every year at the minimum, we spend $600 million into the north. Along with that comes investments into new projects for the first time ever on Highway 11 that is going to include a lot of it being twinned. We look at sections on Highway 17 where we are going to be adding passing lanes. We are going to be adding additional capacity to it. Ultimately, the Premier has put forward one of the most ambitious road projects, road budgets and projects in the province's history, and much of that includes Northern Ontario. When we talk about the Ring of Fire, the roads that are going to lead to there, which are going to create huge opportunities for everyone in the north to sections of Highway 11 and Highway 17. They're all very, very important. Now, when we look at, with respect to challenges in the GTA, when we talk about the tunnel, we lose almost $56 billion to gridlock in those areas. So when we have flow of goods moving more efficiently across every part of this province, it's good for the rest of the province. Almost all the goods that go through here have to go through that corridor as well. So we want to make sure we're investing in all parts of Ontario, which for the Premier also includes significantly in the north. And our numbers show that no one has invested this much in prior years than what the Premier has put forward. My goal is to continue to get these projects started quicker and faster. When we're talking about expansions where you can take Highway 69, you can take Highway 11, you can take Highway 17, the full corridor, how do we get these projects quicker and faster? And we've worked on some legislative pieces that we've passed through the House to move those projects quicker and faster, and we'll see, and we'll be seeing the results of some of that coming up soon in the north as well, with respect to the 2+1 on Highway 11 and some of our projects on the 17.
Thank you. Just expanding a little on Corey's talking about the economic impact on this project and then the other projects that are happening further up north. Is steel factoring into that at all? I imagine in the bridge rebuilding portions there is steel, and is there any requirement for use of Canadian steel in those projects?
Yeah, so Minister Crawford and our team have led the Buy Ontario policy. The Premier has been very strict, especially when it comes to bridge replacements, is where you see the majority of that dollars spent. That we expect our contractors, in this case it's the green infrastructure partners, to be using Canadian, as much Canadian as possible. And we expect that. That is why we stepped in on an agreement that was between the TTC on 55 new subway cars. We knew that the only place in Canada, in Ontario, that they could be built was in Thunder Bay. And so we put forward, and the Premier put forward an order saying that, this can't go to, any company that is based outside of Ontario or Canada, and ensured that contract stepped in and canceled the contract to ensure that those jobs and that $2.3 billion investment went to Thunder Bay and the workers that are there. And so we expect that from every one of our contractors. We put forward legislation with respect to Buy Ontario policies that will impact from infrastructure projects to technology projects all across government to expect our teams to be using those in Ontario. Where they're not, we'll be enforcing that and ensuring that they're held accountable for that. Thank you very much. Thanks, everyone.